Hello, my dear friends. Hello, welcome to another MindStiller. And why do we do this? Why do we go like that at greeting each other? Namaste, some people say. Well, I'm showing respect to you, and you're showing respect to me if you're bowing back, even if it's just a little acknowledgement. We respect each other because we have something to share with each other and something to give each other. Besides friendship, companionship, we have love. And love is the opposite of fear. And when we respect each other, whether you pranam, do a namaste, or whether you just go like that, or just how to do, have a good day, doesn't matter. You don't have to bow all the way like the Japanese do, and you don't have to do like this crazy thing, but just to acknowledge that we are all equal. We are all one. And that makes everything so much easier to understand. There's not some people who are better than others. There's not one culture who has all the answers. There's not one religion that is the only religion. If anybody ever tries to sell you that bill of goods, they are dead wrong, let me tell you. There is no easy solution to life. Life is so incredibly vast and filled with facets, like a crystal, like a diamond. It sparkles, and it can't be fit into boxes or categories. So let's talk a minute about people who are feeling anxious, in fear, worried about the future. And these are the people I'd like to address today. People who've never, ever tried any kind of mindfulness techniques, breathing techniques, or why would they want to do that? What's the difference between stilling your mind and letting your mind just run rampant with all the solutions? Because some people think that if we don't use this logical thinking mind all the time, then we're not living up to our human potential, because we're thinking animals, right? Well, we are much, much more than just thinking animals. We have spirits, we have souls, we have destinies, we have purposes. We are not just mistakes. We are not just flips on somebody's biological randomness. We are here for a purpose. And our spirit is the director of that purpose. And to get in touch with that spirit means we have to be quiet. We have to let go of the necessity of thinking all the time, having solutions all the time, being rational all the time, and just resting when we go to sleep or we're at the beach. We can tune into that spiritual side of ourselves by getting in touch with that stillness that we are when we allow it. So the very first thing that we must do is to give ourselves permission and to acknowledge that we are much, much more than just this physical body, just this hunk of bone and flesh and minerals and water. We are many, many more percentages water than any other substance. And we are part of this planet. We are intrinsically children of this planet. This planet really should have been called water instead of Earth, because there is much more water on this beautiful planet that we live on than terra firma. So if we acknowledge in our hearts, and that's a beautiful part of our mind, not the part of our mind that's always questioning, always arguing. Our heart mind means that, that feels right. That feels true. If we acknowledge that we are part of this earth, that the environment is not just separate from us, that we are in, the molecules are the same. Our DNA is practically the same as trees and grass and toads. We are all connected here on this planet. if we acknowledge that, then we can start to say, there's something else besides the mind, the thinking mind, the intellect. I have a spirit. I have a soul. And that toad does too, and that tree does too, and that ocean molecule does too. We all are connected with spirit. Now, another word, if you have a hang up with the word spirit, is consciousness. Consciousness. We all have this connected energy, which is consciousness. We are conscious of having consciousness. Isn't that amazing? To be conscious of our consciousness is the beginning of our spiritual life. It's when we decide, I embrace the fact that I have consciousness that can expand. And it can keep expanding because there's no limit to consciousness. It's infinite. Look out into the sky at night and see how vast it is. That's consciousness. Consciousness is not something you can put under a microscope. Consciousness is an intangible, unphysical beingness. And physicists are catching up with spiritually minded people in proving that this is a commonality in all that exists. It was discovered years ago, several years ago, by physicists at the CERN, which is a huge exploration of molecules and electronic, tiny, tiny things. And they discovered what they tongue-in-cheek called the God particle, the Higgs boson. Check it out if you don't remember or if you missed it. So there is actually something that people have discovered that everything has. Everything. And it is consciousness. And we are consciousness. So once you understand that, you don't have to reach for a pill or another shot of bourbon or a magic mushroom or anything else to quiet your mind. You can start by soothing your troubled mind and realize that what we are involved with in life here is this play of consciousness, this incredible, random, chaotic at times, and unforeseeable play of consciousness. And that's beautiful because it's the active part of being alive. Now, people who want to know more solidly that I'm going to go to heaven when I die, these are the people who need to stick to religion. And it has many benefits. And religion really does guarantee that. You do this and that and follow those rules and you will go to heaven. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about consciousness, which is heaven right now. Or for those who don't understand that we are consciousness, it could be hell right now. And for a lot of people, it is hell right now. That's why people are so addicted to mind-altering substances, because they can't embrace what the now is about, which is consciousness. It's pretty amazing. So just think about that, because you have to surrender to that before you can start doing the practices, which are the other MindStillers. I've done so many MindStillers where I actually take you through step by step how to stop thinking, tune into a breath, a couple breaths, a mantra, or a sound. But before you can do that, you have to surrender and say, yes, I am one with all that is in existence. I am part of this magnificence, this thing called life, which is consciousness. And as long as we have breath, we are truly conscious. And for people who have lost the ability to breathe, they are either on life support or they have left their bodies and they are no longer in this physical consciousness, but they are still in consciousness. So I hope that you will just think for a moment to let your mind open up, like the doors of perception. Open those doors of possibility and tell yourself, I can open this door and realize that I am much, much more than my body, much more than bones and blood and flesh and illness and success and possessions and marriages, relationships. I am much more than that. I am consciousness. So watch my other mind stillers if you want to practice how to get there. It's easy. But first you have to surrender. You can't be fighting. You can't be doing an exercise and saying, this is bullshit. It won't work. And you also cannot be high, and you cannot be drinking or taking substances because there's a block. It's a block. Just like that. Any mind-altering substances, whether they're prescribed or recreational, they will block your ability to tune into pure consciousness by stilling your mind. And we do that with breath. Be well, my friends. Until next time. Om Namah Shivaya.